and we're gonna see if we can catch anything. It's a popping frog. I think.
You got a fish?
Yep.
Yes! Yes, 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 yes.
So, in frog fishing, there's all kinds of colors, and usually when they show the frogs, they show the tops of them. Like in the packaging and stuff, you always see the front of them, which this doesn't really matter because this is going to be facing up or towards the sky. What matters is actually the bottom of the frog or the belly of the frog. There's basically two main colors that you need. They make them in all different colors, like red, yellow, white, and blue. Those colors I kind of tend to ignore. I tend to stick to white and black. Sunny days I tend to use like black, whereas like cloudy days I tend to use white frogs. For whatever reason, a white frog on a cloudy day works well. The setup that you're going to want to use, I use a medium heavy. You can also use a heavy rod. Now I would suggest throwing it on a bait caster, otherwise you can throw it on a spinning rod. Bait casters just tend to throw a bit farther. They have a bigger spool. I just had a fish blow up on me, but you know, whatever, because we're going to focus on this. I run 40-pound braid, that way you can rip them out of there, and also those toothy fish are not going to really be able to get through that as well. I know people that go all the way up to 80-pound braid. It's more of a down south thing. I tend to go a little bit lighter. Odds, you're going to want to run something that is around medium heavy to heavy. When it comes to bait casters, spinning rods you can throw them on. So Charlie is going to throw it on a spinning rod, but it's fine. I threw it on a spinning rod quite a few times. Also, you want something with a good drag. So cheaper reels are going to tend not to do as well, so you want to make sure to look at the reviews on the reel, and especially you want a good drag system, because you may only catch a 2-pound bass, but once you're going through all those weeds, it's going to get caught up in a ton of weeds, and you may be bringing in 10 pounds of weeds for a 2-pound bass. Or right as you go into that hook set, your drag's going to just slip and you're going to lose that fish. Get your reel, just lock it all the way down. So like on a bait caster, you'll see this little turny thing right next to your handle, and that is the drag. At least on most bait casters I've seen, this is called a star drag. So you can just turn this and tighter to make it, well, tighter. With frogs, you have two options. You either have a popping frog or just like a normal frog. So the normal frog basically just looks like a frog, and it has like a pointed front, so it cuts through weed mats much better than such as I'm throwing a popping frog right now. Popping frogs I tend to throw a bit more because they just throw a bit more water, but it does not cut through the weed mats as well. If you guys are fishing like really heavy cover, I'd suggest doing like a frog that has a pointed front, just because you're going to be able to get through that weed mat just a whole lot easier, and it's just going to be in the long run a lot more effective. Hope that will help some of you out there that are looking to fish a frog. Anyways, we're going to get back into fishing.